Hey guys, it's Matt. First video post book. Via the book and everything you and I have looked at over the past 10 to 15 years, we've come to the conclusion that the world in reality is not a little fake. It's not mostly fake. It's completely and utterly fake to its core, found guilty by every single jury that ever examined the evidence. So, what are you going to do now, Matt? Like, what are you going to do now, Napoleon? Anything I feel like, God. Well, yeah, anything I feel like. I don't know. I sat down like, what should the plan be for this channel? A plan B. Well, you can't make a plan. It will just evolve. I am assured of one thing. The not milk will keep feeding us. If it's maybe this channel will just be to laugh at it. I don't know. But it will keep feeding us. So some days it might be navigating reality with Matt, taking a fifth grade truth into 12th grade, laughing at it with Matt. I don't know. There's no need to sit down and make a plan. The not milk will keep giving, keep providing. And I haven't looked at the news. I figured I don't know where to start. Yesterday, I told you I figured I'd try to sell pencils as an alternative. I went to Market Street in Philadelphia. I sold two. Took 20 cents home. I figured I did the math. It's not going to work out for me. Two pencils a day. I was out there all day, trudging up and down Chestnut, Locust, Market Street. Two damn pencils. Two people said, "You got a pen?" I said, "No, but I'm selling pencils." And then I sold. That was it. The math isn't going to work. So this channel will evolve. The old guard, I think, will stick with me. We'll see. I figured, I don't know, where do you start? The pencils didn't work. I'll look at the news today. We'll go from here. Also, I'm going to look closely at the philosophers. I take offense at philosophers like Schopenhauer and Nietzsche. I've never read their complete works. You know how much time that takes? I don't have time for that. But I'm going to look at them closely because each one, to me, is part of the deception of this reality. It's a high level graduated animal farm where the people that read it think they're actually getting some real knowledge. They feel good about themselves because they can actually interpret Hobbes' Leviathan and all that horse shit. It's a waste of time. So I want to show you this. I came here because I haven't, again, looked at news for months other than what I might come across in passing or between trying to fast forward through the local news, trying to get the weather. Figured, okay, go back to CNN.com. Oh, Chicago's still here. That's good. Top left. This is the only thing I clicked on. This is where we'll start. Live updates, it says, if it's too small to read. Top left. Live updates. Israel-Hamas war. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. Let me see. There must have been so much that's happened. All this. Let me see what's going on. Okay, this is like a time warp, doing the time warp with Magenta in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Live updates. I mean, let's see what's going on. It's been so many months since I visited this. The war started October, the early part of October 2023, the latest war. Devastation in Gaza as Israel wages war on Hamas. I went, well, this must be old. This is the headlines that came in the first week of October. And I went, by Kathleen somebody, March 21st, that's today. This was the headline in October. So after not looking at it, we've just picked up. It's like when you go away from The Young and the Restless, the soap. 4 years you go away from The Young and the Restless. Oh, there's Victor and Nikki. It's the same. You've missed nothing going away for 4 years. Well, I literally initially thought this was old. This can't be. What we're covering, negotiations to secure, negotiations to, I still can't say it right, to secure a ceasefire tied to the release of hostages held by Hamas are, quote, getting closer to a deal. These were the headlines in November so they've stalled it out. Nothing. We've missed nothing, guys. This literally is Victor, Nikki, and the Young and the Restless Middle East version. So it's good to know that we've missed nothing regarding Israel, Hamas, Gaza, and West Bank since the very first day the news broke, and we looked at it the very first day. We've missed nothing. Stalled century. Thanks very much. What else is here? The contrast between Biden and Trump's campaign schedules. Biden's aides are eager to point out the differences in his and Trump's latest moves. Now, I don't think they're talking about first off, if there's a first grade truther here, the election results it's already laid out in storyboard. That comic book has already been written. Every single result, they even know the percentages that they're going to award each. So that's all set. So we got the first grade truther updates out of the way. What they're talking about here point out differences in the latest moves regarding how they're campaigning. See, this makes no sense. If anything were real, one of the two or both of them. But at least Trump, if anything were real, he would simply take to a podium and say, it's ridiculous for me to go out and campaign around states and drive a bus here and speak at a diner here and go to a lumber factory here. Or I'm for you, I'm for the workers, and just hug with all the workers at the lumber yard. See, this is pointless, he would say, if anything were real. See, I was president. The other guy's president. You know exactly where we stand. You know exactly who I am at this point. I'm not going to campaign one day. I'm not going to actually leave Trump Plaza. If anything were real, which it's not, so there's no getting out on the road. Everybody already has an exact determination or opinion of who this person is. For both Biden and Trump, on the love to hate meter, everybody's mark, wherever their push pin is or pin the tail on the donkey, their love to hate meter for each was set years ago. And then a whole dump truck full of cement has been poured over it. So in other words, if somebody hates Trump now, it doesn't matter if he speaks at the local diner, they will continue to hate him to the same degree. If somebody loves Trump and they fly their flags all day, they fly their flags off pickup trucks, they wave your flag, play, you bounce your ball. If you love him, then you love him. He could do another Billy Bush it's a Billy Bush story, and it's completely real and legitimate. Another grab the pussy event, and they would still love him to the same degree. The love-hate meter has been cemented over by 1,000 dump trucks. Speaking at the local diner or at the 4-H club isn't going to matter. How come the people around us, our friends and family, can't see this and say, why are they doing any campaigning? Why even do a debate? Everybody, not in the country, everybody in the world has a set, fixed opinion on these two men. First bullet point. Biden's cash edge widens. Trump's lawyer fees pile up, and other takeaways from the latest filings. Biden's cash edge widens. Trump's using up all his campaign money to pay lawyers, and because of all the legal troubles he's in. So Biden's holding more cash. He must have the edge in the presidency. What? Who could possibly believe this one? Why would holding cash matter? Like we just talked about, everybody in the world's opinion on each man is fixed, set, times a billion. If one man just had $1, and I mean just $1 in the entire bank, or pennies, that's it, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. If the other man had hundreds of billions, every state that campaign bus rolled through, it hit a local state lottery. It doesn't matter how much cash they hold. What would it matter how many billboards one man or the other puts his big ugly face on? I was going to vote Trump, but I saw a Biden billboard, and now I'm convinced I'm now a Democrat. What the hell is going on? Oh my God. Oh boy, the people around us, I guess they still believe these bullet points. Every time I go back to CNN, like I said, it gets dumber and dumber every time. What's the next bullet point? CNN confronts North Carolina's GOP nominee to lead public schools who tweeted conspiracy theories. What the hell? Let's get into this one. All right, what she said I can't talk about, or this video won't load. And I have to actually start with this. Bot. I'm talking about the Michelle Morrow, North Carolina, head of schools news article. Okay, I have to even tell the bot what I'm talking about, or this won't load. It forced me to watch an Anderson Cooper video. There was no text. Do you believe I had to stomach that? This big, ugly, demonic face was put in front of me, and he told the story about the head of GOP, the GOP nominee that's going to be the head of schools in North Carolina, tweeted some nasty things about what, let's just say, should happen to Democrats you've heard of, like Obama and others. And it couldn't be any more, what was the hobo code we used? Inciting violins and violas? Inciting violins. You can see we could make some, blah, blah, blah. Really, really stuff that if I said one half of this, the video wouldn't load. And she also was a big proponent, they said, of Q. And I don't know what I can even say there. And what was the other? Adrenaline, that stuff in conspiracy. The linking Jim Carrey, she said, to the adrenaline stuff that a portion of the truth community follows. So he was talking about that as well. And of course, it makes sense that the person that would put all this out would become head of schools for North Carolina. As usual, guys, if there's a first grade truther here, everything here is part of the storyboard. Nothing is legitimate. I toggled back over to the browser. CNN had refreshed itself, and the bot rearranges some of the news articles every 20 or 30 minutes. And I went, oh no. Lawmakers unveil 1.2 trillion funding package. Long-awaited legislation sets up a high-stakes sprint to pass it as a shutdown deadline looms. At the end of the, I said, wait a second. We revisited Israel, Hamas, Gaza. We revisited that. Nothing had, it was like we didn't go away even for a minute. Here we go again. It's like, is this the same shutdown as the one that just happened? Or is this, it's like we didn't even go away for a minute? All it can do is recycle the same stalled century bullet points and headlines. Are you listening to me, my friend Tony? When it presented the first potential crisis about a government shutdown, say 40 years ago, maybe that was believable. It's happened hundreds of times. Every time the spending just continues and the debt continues, and it's a crisis. Who could possibly believe this? Guys, it's like we didn't even go. I'm looking at the news closely for the first time in many, many months. It's like I just looked at it yesterday morning. First bullet point underneath, read the text of the 1.2 trillion government funding package. Read who's going to go to this bullet point? Some guy riding a train somewhere. Oh, goody. The text of the 1.2 trillion government funding package. I can read the House resolution bill. Let's go take a look at it together, guys. Here we are. Read the text of the 1.2 trillion government funding package. Guys, that's not the budget. Doesn't it spend like $6 trillion a year or more? That's just to get by. It needs 1.2 trillion probably to get into next week. This is just to get by. Let's see what's here. Oh, here it is. It doesn't even have an H resolution number yet. Look at this thing. The 118th Congress. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Providing for the concurrence by the House and the Senate amendment to H.R. 2882 should say 666. In the House of Representatives, Mrs. Granger. So who the hell's Mrs. Granger? Mrs. Granger submitted the following resolution, which was referred to the committee on blank. Oh, it's not even submitted yet, those sons of bitches. Resolution. Matt, you're not going to read the whole thing. Just another 30 seconds just to show you the level of legalese bullshit that's here. Providing for the concurrence by the House in the Senate amendment, H.R. 2882-666, with an amendment resolved that upon the adoption of this resolution, 1, the chair of the Committee on Appropriations may insert in the congressional report not later than March 26, 2024, such material as she may deem explanatory of the Senate amendment and the text proposed to be inserted by this resolution. And 2, the House shall be considered to have taken from the Speaker's table on bill. Okay. This must go on just for a few pages, right? Guys, let me see if I can scroll down and show you here. We're on page 2 of 1012. 1,000 to get a measly 1.2 trillion just to get by? So these sons of bitches can maybe get into the middle of April? It's over 1,000 pages. Guys, look at this. That amounts may be available under the heading shall be available to provide assistance only for activities in the countries. It's created like this so no one reads it. It's created by the bot like this. It's the Whopper computer from War Games guy. So nobody reads it. And they start to look at it and they just say, what time was lunch? Fuck it. Just approve the damn thing. Well, not quite. It's all a script. But look at this. It talks about Iraq and you've got to be. Who could possibly believe in the legitimacy of? I can't say it. It's. I guess it's inciting violins and violas. Let's go back to the bullet points. We're bottom left, where it's in bold. Opinion: Trump can't pay his bond in legal judgments. Why that's dangerous. It's highly dangerous, Mr. Ambassador, to have your submarines in close proximity to ours. That's how wars have started, Mr. Ambassador. It's dangerous that he can't. First of all, he can't pay his bond. How is he going to get on the road again? How's he going to do his tour bus then? I keep saying tour bus, but Matt, it's a Freudian slip. Campaign bus. Campaign. Come, guys, this is going to be so funny when they have him. Remember we talked about a few months back? It'll be Shawshank. He'll be behind bars, actually running the country, what people will think, as president, but from behind bars. and then he'll create a constitutional crisis by pardoning himself. We've talked about this recently. He'll do a Rodney Dangerfield. I dedicate this building to myself. I pardon myself. Now, jailer, open the door. I just pardoned myself. The jailer will be like, can I do it under the Constitution? And then he'll walk. Oh, gosh. They have the, don't they have, Bot and Not Nilk, if you're listening to me in real time, don't you have the ultimate constitutional fake act of the play crisis all set up and ready to go with Trump? Oh, it's going to be so fun to watch, guys. Maybe if Biden gets back in, this jackass up the road here literally it was like a day before they said Biden clearly won, because it's that script they keep playing out where the votes are counted again and recounted and hanging chads, and you don't know who the president's going to be till the next morning because the country's always split right down the middle. And then the next day, I guess it was Biden became president. He went out with his pots and pans and his bells and I should go up there and knock on his door and say, what the fuck happened? What changes they will actually, big supporters, just like I told you about my uncle, big supporters will actually in their mind, they'll come up with things that their guy or their president did that was beneficial, when of course nothing out your window changes. The debt goes up, freedoms go down, etc. Like my uncle said, we became energy independent under Trump. And I went, what? I'm sure the guy up the street would have the same thing to say about Biden. Here's the final left-hand column bot-driven article from CNN.com. Nearly 500,000 student loan borrowers will get emails from Biden, but they won't all receive immediate debt relief. They're getting student loan forgiveness and debt relief. Number one, creates more camps. Has one group hating the other group. The people that went into private industry or just can't get a job at all. If I would have been a mom, if I would have been a mailman, they would have forgiven my $400,000 debt from the University of Virginia. Well, son, University of Virginia graduates don't typically become mailmen. Well, I kind of see your point, but Joey down the block here, he's going to work for the Bureau of Land Management, the BLM. They're the ones that went after the Bundy Ranch. He's getting his $800,000 debt relief from Stanford all wiped out because he's working for the federal government. Go work for the federal government then and shut your mouth. And scrolling down to find the text, make sure I break that image up into 2 or more segments. God forbid I show you the entire image, because you know where it came from. It came from the monsters at Getty. To your best friend. It just makes perfect sense. Matt, you must be one of those people. Makes sense that one company provides all images to the entire corporate world. Every single thing they need for the web all comes from one place. Oh, Matt, what about Dreams Time? And what's the other one called? Shutterstock? Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Who's to say they're not subsidiaries of Getty? Of course they are. Makes perfect sense when there's 25 million 4K images a day taken with phones. Sorry. President Joe Biden announced another round of student loan debt forgiveness Thursday, totaling $5.8 billion for nearly 78,000 public sector workers, and will be sending congratulatory emails to those borrowers next week. Congratulatory emails? Well, half of them are going to go to spam, and half of them are not going to be opened. There's only going to be like 5 people that are going to get the debt relief. Maybe they don't get it automatically. It's like my Capital One credit card. You got to click activate your rewards. Well, I'm a customer. Why do I have to activate my rewards? Why don't I just get the 5% on all gas stations and next month 5% off Walmart purchases? Why don't you just give it to me? Why do I have to just 2 clicks to activate? Fuck your active. Why do I have to click anything? Maybe it's like a Capital One credit card. You actually have to open the email and click the big flashing magenta button that says activate. You carrying $450,000 of student loan from Wesley, Colgate, Vassar, or other liberal hellholes like Bard College? You have to click. Well, those people would never go into government. Well, they probably would go into government. Government attracts more assholes than anybody else. So you would click activate. If you don't click it, you keep your debt. You need to activate your forgiveness. You set up Joe Biden to go to spam, or you're going to pay for that. Additionally, 380,000 borrowers who may be eligible for debt relief within the next 1 to 2 years will also be getting emails from Biden with a message that says, quote, keep it up. Keep what? Keep what up? They're government workers, right? This is established. So they're getting the debt relief because they chose a life of government service. Well, there's some problems. First of all, the email says keep it up. They sleep at their desks all day. Keep what up? They're sleeping at their desks while the TPS reports are piling up. They're government workers. Keep what up? The good work? The mail gets here. Other than that, I'm not so sure. The mail does get here. So we'll give the postman a break on this. Keep it up. And also what this will do, of course, any fool can see that People will flood into government to get the debt relief. If you want to be a lawyer, you'll go into government or whatever to get the debt relief. And as soon as you get your debt relief or whatever the minimum standards on what we call vesting of debt relief, you're going to leave its ass to go work in the private sector. Oh, one more month and I'm fucking out of here. I get my debt relief. Then I go to work for Morgan and Morgan, ambulance chasing lawyers. They're going to get the debt relief. What are they going to do? After you relieve it, they're going to come after you to pay it back because you left your job. That's all well, some people will continue to work for government and sleep at their desk as the TPS reports pile up. But see, some people will go in just to get the relief and then they'll jump out. I don't know. The whole point is to create more camps, more infighting, and people saying to their best friend, well, why, it's not fair. He got the debt relief and I'm not. It's obviously the whole thing is to set up to create camps and friction and the loosh that it feeds upon. What are you going to tell the kid over here that didn't get any debt relief when he just saw his two best friends get the debt relief? Are they going to say, there's no money for that? There's no money for that? Well, we just went to the potential looming government shutdown. What do they need, 1.2 or 1.5 trillion? Where do you think they're going to get that? Oh, floating of bonds? No, they're going to make half of it up or whatever they don't get by way of bonds. The biggest fallacy of all time that people are lining up to buy these junk, worthless bonds that Rick Santelli or whatever, the guy that supposedly started the Tea Party, keeps saying government bond issues. There's been government bond issues. I'm sure that there were no buyers, and it's just not reported. Because if it was reported, there were no buyers for government T-bills, the whole system would collapse. So they make the money up. It's the Treasury working with the Fed, each scratching each other's back. They make the money up. So you can't tell the kid over here that's not going to work in the private sector there's just no money to forgive his debt when they could just make it up and just send it out in 2 seconds. The Fed Whopper supercomputer could relieve everybody's debt in 2 seconds. There's no problem getting the money because it's made up on a supercomputer. The only problem would be the back-end inflation if this is all causing. All right, here's an example of what I'm talking about. The small liberal hellhole colleges and universities are typically more expensive than any other. The small little liberal hellholes, Bard College, Colgate, Wesleyan, Vassar, Bryn Mawr College, not far down the road here. Now, it's not Ivy League, but they actually believe themselves, many of them believe themselves to be more elite and exclusive than the Ivy League. They look down on people that went to, you went to Dartmouth or, they don't look down on Harvard and Yale. I guess the Harvard and Yale people, they would still want their autograph and they still look up to, but, you went to Cornell, Wesley, the small liberal hellholes. This is the mindset when you get, okay, remember I said the point is they're more expensive than any other colleges. $65,000 to $80,000 a year for these little liberal hellholes. If you include room and board and books and meal plans, up to $80,000. So easily, it's over $300,000 to go if you just graduate in 4 years. If you drop classes and such, it's going to be longer than 4 years. The point is, okay, here comes what we were talking about: debt relief. This is like winning the lottery to these young people. They're not just going to buckle down and buy Campbell's soup. They're going to believe like they won the lottery and start spending. They will go lease the car that they wouldn't have been able to lease. They will start spending money as it's coming in quicker than it can come in. If you do this enough, again, the economy doesn't need any more inflationary pressure. I think the role of toilet paper and the paper towels, talk about shrinkflation, it's down to one paper towel. There was one paper towel around a cardboard roll. What are they going to do next? Just give me the cardboard? And if you're screaming at me on the other side, I can hear you. Matt, they want them to spend. This economy is so fragile. If they don't have certain groups spending and churning, it all goes down. I hear you. It's a gigantic conundrum for them. It's incredible they've kept it going this long. They need so much spending to keep all the money movement and the money multipliers. But on the other hand, inflation, okay, they're going to have to move the dollar aside when the little old lady, like I said, goes out to buy a bag of apples, and the bag of apples is $28 for $28 for one bag of apples. Or you go to get the map to get yourself a new map, the map to Davenport, 22 mile. The map to Davenport is now $14 when it used to be 99 cents in the gas station. When the little old lady cannot put food on the table, then they're going to have to do something. They're going to have the new system, of course, is all ready to go. It's incredible they've kept it going this long. Well, we know the answer is clear as to how they've been able to do it. The supercomputers and the AI technology was far more advanced, the injection of money, far more advanced than we knew about 10 years ago. We get a sense now with the AI tools and all that they're making available to the great unwashed what these AI program systems and tools can do, but they've had them, of course, for 10 years, and that's been managing the economy. Last paragraph, quote, if you continue your career in public service, you're on track to get your eligible student loans forgiven in less than 2 years through the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, comma, end quote. An example email provided by the White House reads. What reads? Who wrote this? Either a very confused bot or Yoda himself. It's all confused sentence structure. This is the way Yoda talks. Yoda says, much fear in you I sense. Much fear in you. No, Yoda. 800 years you trained Jedi. You should be studying the English language for 800 years. I sense there's much fear in you, Luke. Much fear in you, I sense. No, you do the I sense first, Yoda. It's a confused Yoda bot. And first of all, the quote should come after. Here's an example email provided by the White House. Quote, if you continue. Okay, they put it first. The bottom or the back half is still confused. Per the student loan forgiveness, comma, an example email provided by the White House reads. If you're going to put it at the end and confuse it, bot, to begin with, you would say, an example email reads provided by the White House. It's Yoda confused. This bot should go watch Star Wars. Guys, I took several minutes to scan more headlines and bullet points and to open up a few stories. I don't even know what to say. The idiotic nature of what's here cannot be described. The idiotic and asinine nature of what here is something we wouldn't have believed in 5 years ago. Look at the top left. U.S. tests hypersonic missile in Pacific as it aims to keep up with China and Russia. The message is very clear that the U.S. in some areas is falling behind China and Russia in some military pursuits. But isn't this the same Russia that's struggling when the grannies take to their sandbags and they take to the Chinese Kalashnikovs and they hide under the bridges in certain parts of the Ukraine? So this is not new. We've heard Russia for 15 years has surpassed the United States in all these different areas. But this is the Russia that is, and China that is now surpassing the United States, but can't see to a quick end in the Ukraine. Right, okay. Analysis. Dreams of his basketball court. Obama sees all-star hoops at his presidential library. I don't know what I can say. I don't know what to say. Obama sees all-star hoops. I don't even know what that means. Grammy-winning musician finds new calling with a guided meditation album. That's got to be Dylan. Is he still alive? Bob Dylan, godmother of the Zionist settler. It's a Zionist settler. Get those settlers out of the West Bank. Shares her vision of a post-war Gaza. Simply a repackaging and rebranding of the movie The Road. Why it's important to always listen to your body. That's a Pootie Tang Award. That's advice from the 1800s. What else is here? What else can we make fun of quickly? This was also on the CNN homepage. $33,000 a night private island comes with an uninvited guest. Ooh, see, this is where the channel's going right here. And using your comments being a bigger part. We do a whole video, could do 5 videos just on this. For example, if you were going to rent your $33,000 a night private island, who would be the uninvited guest that you would be least, let's just say, looking forward to showing up? Like, remember, what was that Julia Roberts movie about the cyber attack or whatever? Leave the World Behind on Netflix, where the owners of the house show up. You pay $33 for your private island. It's not the Epstein Island. It's the one over. You can see the partying over at that island. And he's still there, by the way. Of course he's still there. And he just came from David Bowie Island. He did that, whatever. Of course, that what happened in his, that didn't happen. Of course it did. 33,000. Who would you least want to get off the boat where they'd have to stay with you a few nights because, let's say, their boat was capsizing and they swam ashore? You just paid $33,000. I'd say, for me, right off the bat, Whoopi Goldberg comes to mind. Could you imagine her crawling up the beach wet? Her little boat went down. She's coming by herself and she horny. Sorry, guy, I had to cut the rest of that off. You don't want to hear where that went. This was also a major news story, apparently, at CNN.com homepage. Baby's underwhelming reaction to first birthday goes viral. And how many of you are trying to search for it right now? If you are, you have a lot of work to do. You need to go listen to the last video if you're trying to search this out. Last headline. Tesla CEO Elon Musk, or anagram Lone Scum, so you can see it, right? Loneskum, says he uses prescription ketamine. Here's what you need to know about the drug. First off, I don't need to know anything about the drug other than what I learned in the movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis, which we'll get to in a moment. Here's what I need to know. If it's implying I need to know anything, I care about what he puts in his cybernetic body. I don't care what he puts in his cybernetic robotic body. I don't care if he takes the blue pill, red pill. I don't care if he jacks into a hole with a hole in the back of his neck into his own little private Idaho matrix. I don't care about this individual. Here's what I need to know. Like, I'm concerned. He might. Here's what I know about ketamine. Bruce Willis. The guy in the white lab coat comes up to Bruce Willis. He's like, toxology reports ketamine. We found ketamine. And Bruce Willis says something like, well, sedatives are used all the time, doctor. And doctor says, well, this one's used on horses. So I guess Bear, that gigantic 400-pound man from the Green Mile, was taking a sedative used on horses, according to Bruce Willis's Armageddon. And now the man that's running the U.S. space program is using ketamine, which, according to Armageddon, is used on horses. It makes sense, though, because his body isn't human. It's cybernetic. Of course it's going to need something stronger. This makes perfect sense. Thanks for listening, and we're going to need to do something more exciting than this in the future. The channel won't last very long.